staying relevant.
I forgot to hit record, shoot.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you, Jamie. And thank you, Noel, for the invitation. I have known Noel for a number of years now and worked closely with him in a number of supporting him with a number of communication specialists over the course of many years. So it's a pleasure to be with you all here at STC and share a couple thoughts on how to stay relevant in the 2022 job search. That being said, whoops, is it going?
Not yet.
Whoops. There we go.
Yeah,
Happy
we have
New Year! On behalf of my constituents here at Clearpoint and myself, we want to wish all of you a very happy and healthy new year. And a shout out to my colleague, Monica Gonzalez, recruiter, who helped me put together this particular presentation for you. And with every new year comes a new year resolution. It's the resolution of many workers make each January. This year, I will get my dream job. And for those who are truly motivated to land a new role, take it to the next level, boost their salary, or all three, conditions have rarely been better. Job listings are plentiful, wages are rising, and unemployment is low. So, now that we've celebrated the Epiphany and the three wise men, a wise man said, don't be afraid to start over again. This time, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. Seize the moment. It might be tempting to jump to the next opportunity you see on LinkedIn or make a lateral move for 10% raise or more. Recruiters agree that workers need to seize this advantageous moment. Most recruiters recommend job seekers use their leverage, be hyper-specific about what they're looking for, and more importantly, do their homework about their current situation. Narrow down the job search. Use your leverage to take the next step in your career. Zero in on what you dislike about your job. Put in perspective aspects of your job that you dislike. I hate the word hate, but this exercise will help you pinpoint and put in perspective what's bothering you. So again, let's zero in on what you dislike about your job. First, it's important to be very specific. Disliking or hating everything is not a clarifying answer. You owe it to yourself to think through thoroughly, not only what do I complain about, but what would you remedy about the situation? Some people may take a more relaxed, laid-back approach to career planning. After all, most skilled workers, especially writers like you, have recruiters reaching out to them morning, noon, and night. That being said, it's real important for me to tell you to be aware of some recruiters. Make sure you're working with a recruiter that has credibility and stability in the industry. On the other hand, having that laid-back approach may not net you that hybrid work situation, salary, or sign-on bonus that you really want to make the move. Remember, it's really important to put in perspective what exactly is missing from your work life and what you hope to achieve with the next move. Stay focused, but don't wear yourself out. Your job search should not be a job. Perhaps research a little on the side and put aside an hour or two each day to focus on the search versus letting it consume you. When your job hunt becomes a job, that's when people take the first thing they can just because they're tired of looking. Make the time to do the simplest measure. For example, if you can only send out one resume per day or one resume per week, so be it. You have leverage. Figure out how much. The great resignation is real, or as I call it, the great reevaluation. Put in perspective, what is your current scenario within the tech communications industry? People who have worked in very similar jobs with in very similar industries, serving a similar client or product line, have lots of leverage. You have lots of leverage, and having this leverage is advantageous. And it would be good for you to evaluate a role with growth and future success versus taking a new role for just the salary bump. Your connections count on LinkedIn. Making one phone call to a former colleague, sending a connection request on LinkedIn to somebody you admire, going to an online job fair or this seminar, and chatting with a recruiter is moving your job forward. The beginning of the year offers the perfect excuse to reach out to your people in your network, to check in and catch up, simply mentioning that you're on the job search. But remember, you should step back and put in perspective as you're having these type of conversations. Be thoughtful about the type or kind of company you want to work for. Think about who you know that loves their job, and more importantly, why they love their job. Get the job, but get the job without quitting. For example, if a significant percentage of your coworkers have left, this could be the ideal time to push for a promotion, raise, or find an entirely new job within your organization, especially if your company is performing well financially. If you're happy, there is great value in being the one who stays and doubles down. Don't expect your organization to automatically reward you for staying. You need to be vocal, you need to be direct, and you need to put together a business case on your prospects at the company and highlight your contributions. Preparing your business case could be as simple as just updating your resume and optimizing your LinkedIn profile. Your resume. We constantly hear about what you should put on your resume, but we rarely talk about what to leave off. If you want to write as writers a resume that says hire me, then every word, number, line, achievement, every little piece of real estate must be carefully considered. So we're going to think about what you should remove. Irrelevant hobbies and interests. So we've got a big X on baking, hiking, travel, furniture restoration, gardening, camping. And there's that little icon there that says blogging. As content creators and writers, I would expect that your URLs for your online portfolios, your LinkedIn profile, or your blog URL should be on your resume. It shouldn't be an interest, right? Have a professional look to your email address. Not only on your resume, what's important is a professional looking email address like, okay, Jane Smith, your name. Sometimes I get resumes that say monstertruckmike@email.com or bubblesmccall@email.com. Make sure that your email address is professionally, has your name or your middle name or what have you, and it doesn't have a nickname of sorts. A Hotmail or AOL or SBC Global. I think that right now is probably the best time to refresh your email address to like an Outlook or a Gmail. I still receive resumes, even in 2022, that have a Hotmail or an AOL address. Take out your home address. We live in a time now where there could be security issues. So as you're distributing your resume to so many different employers and companies and recruiters, it's really not good to have your mailing address or your home address on your resume. What's important is your LinkedIn URL on your resume. And if it says Greater Houston, that would be fantastic, or wherever the city that you live in. Some recruiters only look for local candidates. So if you happen to live in the Woodlands and you're looking for a job in Houston, make sure that your LinkedIn notes Houston, the greater Houston area for a lot of reasons, or else you're just going to be focused on getting opportunities in the Woodlands. Now, on the other hand, we have a number of other opportunities, remote and hybrid opportunities at the moment where that might not, be the case. But still, I think that it's really important for you to leave off your home addresses, your mailing addresses, and ensure that you have your LinkedIn profile. I would eliminate jobs older than 10 to 15 years. And I have the Blockbuster logo there because, believe it or not, I still get resumes that managers that either work for Blockbuster, work for Enron, work for Compaq. Staying relevant, we need to really focus on your work experience within the 10 to 15 years, unless you've been there for decades and it's a big, well-known company and it's closely related to your job. And I'll use my colleague, Noel Utzmiller, because he was at Blockbuster. He was at Baker Hughes for a long time. Not Blockbuster, but Baker Hughes. Pronouns. Never begin your resume with an I. And I have a picture of my mama here. This is my mother. This is on her 85th birthday in October. She just recently, believe it or not, retired from a second career, but I always grew up with her pounding in my brain, never begin, not just your resume, but she hated any time any of us beginning a sentence with I. And I used this particular photo of my mom because every time I think of a pronoun and I see resumes and I see I, me, or we, my mother always said, never begin a sentence with an I, because it's your resume and it's already implied that everything on your resume is about you. Remove the soft skills. I think it's ironic when I receive a resume, especially from a content creator or a writer, and it says great communication skills. You should already have great communication skills. So too many soft skills, for example, attention to detail, multitasking, great communications. Instead of multitasking, perhaps put in project management, but more specifically on how to stay relevant in your world as writers and content creators. For example, CMS is really important, and having experience, hard skills like CMS, like WordPress, Magento, Joomla, Drupal, Adobe Experience Manager, Sitecore, some specific content management experience. Because right now, for example, I'm looking for an email specialist, but they also want this email specialist to have these technical experience with CMS, and they also want them to be writers. So that is a hard skill. The other skill, for example, is CRM experience, especially in email marketing and demand generation campaigns. And some of the more recent CRM skills would be experience with like Salesforce, Pardot, Marketo. Those are some hard skills for you to think about. Okay, please remove your headshot from your resume. It should not be on your resume. You need to save it for your LinkedIn profile. Unless you're applying for a leading actor role, which we know you're not, some hiring managers find the photo unprofessional, especially those glamour shots. Save your professional photo, not a glamour shot, your professional photo for your LinkedIn page. Now we're on LinkedIn, and we've got a few tips on how to optimize your profile for LinkedIn. Of course, a professional headshot and background screen. Keep in mind that your LinkedIn profile is a living, breathing, online resume of you. If you're looking for work, make sure your contact details are listed, especially your email and your phone number, somewhere in your LinkedIn. It's very easy to put in your contact details, especially if you're looking for work and you want recruiters to reach out to you. Writing portfolios. Your LinkedIn page is ideal for putting snapshots in of your writing portfolios. I've also noticed that clippings.me and some blogs have really groovy hyperlinks to your LinkedIn profile. So it's easy for you to capture those URLs there too. But what I think is really unique is I have clients that are specifically looking for writers that can create content for product marketing campaigns so that they can market their products on LinkedIn. So you want to keep that in mind too. Boy, these 18 months, we've certainly learned a lot about the virtual interview. And the cool thing is most of you are here on Zoom, but there's also MS Teams and Google. And what's really important here is that if you have a virtual interview, you have to figure out a way to win that Academy Award. That being said, you need to make sure you prepare your background set. A lot of you have noticed already have some professional settings or background screens that you've chosen from Zoom. That's cool, but you may not have that option with MS Teams, okay? The interviewer may, but you may not. So if you're in an interview, ensure that you have a nice setting, professional setting behind you. Dress the parts. I know that, sometimes bright colors, solid colors work best in an interview. For females, males, perhaps just the white shirt or blue shirt. Solid colors are best. Look the part. The other thing that you need to really focus on is scripting out your answers to some tough interview questions. And as writers, you guys should be pros at that. Scripting them out your answers, practicing in front of a mirror, and winning that Academy Award. One thing that I have learned in virtual interviews is that the uhs and the I knows, and uhs are magnified when you're interviewing. So it's real important that you kind of Google some tough interview questions, script them out. That way you feel comfortable when you're speaking to people, right? So that, I would venture to say, Jamie, is a lot for everybody to be thinking about on how they want to refresh their thoughts for a 2022 job search. And what I thought was, now we could probably engage in a couple of questions. And if anybody wanted to take a stab at answering some of the tough interview questions, that would be great.
Okay.
And perhaps we can utilize some of these as, how our group would answer them.
Right. And before we, oh, I'm sorry for interrupting back, Rebecca. Before we do that, before we engage in this discussion, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording so that we are free to talk candidly and also to protect any privacy. So
that would be ideal.
Oh, but actually, once you in the recording, before we do that, why don't you share your contact information so that way we can include that in the recording.
Okay, great. Well, my contact information you have is Castillo at clearpointco.com. And then you all could easily find me on LinkedIn. I think I showed a previous slide of my LinkedIn profile, but that would be the best thing to do to reach out to me is via email, and we can pinpoint a time to visit.
Okay, thank you so much, Rebecca. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now so we can begin our discussion exercise.
Great, that's lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome.